Okay, this is my day 4. Actually not presenting tomorrow. I forgot I'm presenting on Wednesday. I'm off Monday and Tuesday, so I'm doing great. But, go to hit interchange. Okay. How miscommunication becomes conflict. Being misunderstood is one of the most frustrating experiences someone can have at work. Miscommunication can easily turn small issues into a larger conflict when people interpret messages differently than they were intended. Most of the time, it's not that people actually disagree, it's that they don't fully understand each other's intent. For example, someone might give instructions in an email, but if those instructions are vague or unclear, team may complete tasks differently than expected, communication issues may arise from emails. As a message that was meant to clarify something might come across as criticism if the tone isn't interpreted correctly. When the results don't match expectations, frustrations begin to build. One person may feel like they explain things clearly while the other feels they were never given enough information. The key skill in these situations is being able to recognize when communication is breaking down and diffuse the problem before it grows. This means pausing to ask clarifying questions, confirming what was understood, and making sure everyone is aligned before moving forward. When teams actively take the time to clarify misunderstandings early, they can prevent small communication issues from turning into large workplace conflicts. Another common miscommunication problem in the workplace is poor audience awareness. When we communicate, we often focus more on what we want to say rather than maybe reading or hearing the message. But understanding your audience is extremely important. The way you explain something to a manager, for example, would be different from how you explain it to a technical team member or to a client. Also, I said that part without reading it. That was pretty good. Communication can also fail when the tone or level of detail doesn't match the audience. If a message is too formal, it may sound distant or overly complicated, but if it's too informal, it can also appear unprofessional, unclear, and damage credibility. Another common issue happens when people assume everyone has the same level of knowledge. Using highly technical terms with someone unfamiliar with the subject may confuse them, while oversimplifying information for experts can cause them to lose interest and question their credibility. Because of this, it's helpful to pause before sending a message or report and ask a few simple questions. Who is my audience? What do they know? And what do they need to know? Successful communication happens when we adapt our messages to our audience, making sure the information is clear, appropriate, and easy for them to understand each other. Slide 4. Assumptions are one of the most dangerous things in project communication. In fact, it can become silent project killers. Teams often assume that everyone understands their roles, responsibilities, deadlines, and priorities. But when those expectations aren't clearly communicated, people may end up working on the wrong task or focusing on the wrong priorities. Instead of everyone moving in the same direction, the project starts to drift apart. This can lead to mistakes, duplicated work, missed deadlines, and sometimes entire sections of a project needed to be redone. The real problem is that teams sometimes rely on the idea that everyone is ready on the same page instead of making sure they actually are. It feels like system management fields like system management, this is especially important. For example, configuration management ensures that every detail of a system change is documented and understood before anything is modified. The same principle applies to teamwork. When communication is clear, assumptions disappear, and projects stay aligned. Another example, imagine a group project where one person assumes someone else is creating the project's presentation slides, while another person assumes someone else is handling the research. When the deadline arrives, nobody has completed this task because everyone assumes someone else was responsible. Clear communication is what prevents these gaps. Things like documented expectations, clarified roles, and follow-up conversations. Communication styles also play a big role in workplace misunderstandings, especially when it comes to being passive, assertive, or assertive. Passive communication happens when someone avoids conflict and holds back their opinions. This can look like staying silent during meetings, not asking questions, or giving vague responses. While this might avoid tension in the moment, it often leads to confusion, inconsistent results, and missed opportunities for collaboration. On the other hand, assertive communication involves clearly and respectfully expressing your thoughts, concerns, or ideas. It allows you to communicate your perspective confidently while also encouraging others to share theirs. This creates more clarity, mutual respect, and stronger teamwork. However, assertiveness does not mean dominating the conversation. Over-explaining, interrupting, or talking over others can still disrupt communication. Just flashbang myself. Okay. That's good. However, the goal is to strike the balance. Communicating expectations clearly, setting boundaries when needed, and actively listening so that everyone feels heard and understood. One of the most expensive consequences of poor communication is the unclear requirements, because people can start to feel one of the most expensive consequences of poor communication is unclear requirements. When employees receive instructions that are vague or incomplete, they may feel confused about what's expected from them. This often leads to frustration and lower morale, because people can start to feel unsupported or even set up to fail. Over time, these feelings can lead to an erosion of trust in leadership. If employees constantly receive changing or inconsistent instructions, they may begin to lose confidence in management and the direction of the project. Even in smaller scale environments, like in fast food, I was a manager for a while. The constant changing expectations from home office really put a shift in the team's ideas to work for lack of better words. From a project perspective though, unclear requirements can also become very costly. When tasks are poorly defined, teams often underestimate the budget, the time, team often underestimate time, effort, or resources needed to complete them. This can lead to project overruns, wasted effort, and expensive corrections later in the process. That's why clarity from the beginning is essential. When expectations are clearly defined, understanding the why, the who, and the how, teams are able to work more efficiently, avoid unnecessary stress, and deliver stronger results. These are references we use AI to help come up with talking points for communication and its consequences for when it fails. We use this article to help come up with the script, and yeah. Now I'll hand it over back to Mr. Walleye so he can walk us through the heads. Boom. Alright, time check. 10 minutes? Okay, that's pretty good. We're doing good. Decent. Okay. I can probably cut out the... Nah, I'll keep in the personal story. But, yeah, that's not bad. Let me think. Yeah. We'll call that in. No, I'll keep practicing through Monday and Tuesday as well.